Smartphones are the most important gadgets of this century. They are ubiquitous pocket computers that keep us constantly connected, entertained, and informed. But most of the smartphones you're likely to see, the iPhones and the Galaxies of the world, cost many hundreds of dollars. Fortunately, you don't need to spend nearly $1,000 to get a decent smartphone. In fact, there are a lot of great options available for less than $200. If you're looking for the best smartphone you can get for under $200, look no further than Motorola's Moto G. It's got a great high-res display, quick performance, and easy-to-use software. It also comes unlocked, so you can use it on AT&T, T-Mobile, or a host of prepaid services. You can even use it with a local SIM card when you travel abroad to save on roaming fees. A good cheap smartphone is a lot like any other good smartphone. It needs to work reliably, be easy to use, and have access to all the latest apps and services. The Moto G satisfies all of those needs, and it doesn't look like a cheap clunker either. It's one of the few inexpensive phones to run the latest Android software, and it doesn't have a ton of carrier-added apps that you don't want or need, and which tend to slow down your phone or kill your battery prematurely. And since it's an Android phone, there are millions of apps available for it. Calling an Uber with a Moto G isn't really any different than using an iPhone or Galaxy S6 to do the same thing. You just paid a whole lot less for the privilege of doing so. Other phones in this range, like Sharp's Aquos Crystal or Blue's Vivo Air, have better design, or like Samsung's Galaxy Avant or HTC's Desire 610, can be easily bought at a carrier store. But those all either have worse software, worse displays, or are tied to specific carriers, which doesn't make them as universally appealing. But while the Moto G is a great smartphone at its core, you do have to make some concessions when compared with a more expensive phone. Most notably, the G's camera is pretty bad. In fact, all of the phones in this price range, whether they're from Samsung, Sharp, Nokia, or Motorola, have pretty terrible cameras, especially in low light. Second, the G doesn't have support for LTE, so you have to make do with the noticeably slower HSPA networks. It's fast enough to browse the web, cruise through email, post to Facebook, and stream music. But if you want to use your phone to tether to a computer, watch lots of Netflix, or make a lot of video calls on the go, you're probably going to want something that supports LTE. And if you're looking for LTE and you're on a tight budget, your best bet is Motorola's other inexpensive phone, the Moto E. The Moto E is not as good a phone as the G. It has a worse display, even worse camera, and it doesn't feel as nice in your hand. But it's $30 cheaper and has support for LTE on AT&T or T-Mobile. Everything else that's great about the Moto G applies here too. The E has Android 5.0 without any carrier bloatware and comes unlocked, so you can use it overseas easily. Whether you're a casual user looking to avoid a large investment, or you just dropped your iPhone in a toilet and don't want to spend $700 for a new one, there are plenty of smartphones that cost less than 2 tickets to Disney World. And of those, the Motorola Moto G is the best one you can get.